Hello everyone, it's Brandon Davies at KansasCriminalDefense.com, answering a couple of criminal law questions today. The first and probably the most common question people ask when they come into our office is, how much trouble am I in? Or what's the possible punishment range if I'm convicted of these charges? How this is determined is after a finding of guilt in a court, the judge will order up what they call a PSI or a pre-sentence investigation. What a PSI is it's basically an investigation into your criminal history. They'll find out if you've ever been convicted of any other crimes anywhere. And they will use that to give you a criminal history score. Now, once you know your score, or if you looked into your own criminal history, you know what you've been convicted of and so on, you will look at the top of the sentencing grid. That is the criminal history score where it goes all the way from A to I. I've highlighted those in green. Now that you know what your criminal history score is, the next step will be determining what the severity level crime is, the severity level of the crime. On the far left-hand side, which I've highlighted in red, is the severity levels. You can usually determine this by looking at your charging document or your information, and it will say, based on the specific part of the law that the state's alleging that you've broken, it will have a severity level listed out. So you know your criminal history score and you know the severity level of the crime that you're charged with. Now it's time to make the grid work for you. What you can do is find your severity level, find your criminal history score, and then follow the columns to where they intersect. And that's going to tell you the possible punishment range that you're looking at. Now the colors on the grid mean quite a bit also. The white boxes are what they call presumptive incarceration, or if you intersect there, you're probably going to jail. The gray boxes at the bottom right-hand side of the screen, those are what they call presumptive probation. So if your boxes intersect in there, you are probably looking at probation. Now, and then the darker boxes are what they call border boxes. They're neither presumptive incarceration nor presumptive probation. And if your boxes intersect there, then it's just what the judge wants to do with you. So now that you're armed with the knowledge on how to use the grid, let's go through a couple of examples. I'm going to start with an easy example. We'll look at someone who has a zero criminal history, never been in any trouble before. That is going to go all the way to the far right-hand side of the sentencing grid, and you will see a classification I. If that person were charged with a severity 8 level felony, then what they would do is go down to on the red side of the severity level side, the red side, and find the severity level 8 and then match them up. The person would be looking at, in this highlighted box, of anywhere from 7 to 9 months. And that works, since they're in the lighter shade colored boxes, they are a presumptive probation. So they'd be looking at anywhere from 7 to 9 months presumptive probation. Go through another example. If someone had a criminal history of one prior felony, it was a non-person felony, then they would be rated at a G as far as criminal history score. And you would say they were charged with a level 4 severity felony. You would match up the corresponding boxes and you would see that they'd be looking at anywhere from a 47-month to a 52-month presumptive incarceration sentence. Now remember, folks, these particular examples I've went through are not case specific. They're not specific to your own set of facts. And also, there are different sentencing grids. One's for non-drugs crimes, one's for crimes associated with drugs. So you want to sit down with an attorney that does this stuff quite often so they can explain to you where you fall at within the law and what possible punishment range you're looking at.